MightyKeef. Guys, the Game Awards is going to be in December. I believe it's December 12th. But tomorrow, Monday, is going to be a day where they announce the lineups of the Game of Year. And, usually that's pretty cool, pretty hype. Like, like having a little discussions, right? Oh, what's going to make it? What's not going to make it? This, that, and the third. Ultimately, this has always just been for entertainment for the most part. The Game Awards, like many award shows, I guess, aren't like the end-all, be-all indicator of what game is the best. But it's fun to like talk about, right? And it is somewhat of a merit that I would say, right? If usually the games you would expect get Game of the Year, right? We all knew Baldur's Gate was going to get Game of the Year. Had it not got Game of the Year, we all still knew Baldur's Gate was the best game to come out that year. When Witcher 3 won, we all knew that was the best game to come out that year. Usually when these things happen. However, it's always been kind of an unwritten rule that DLC expansions don't win the award. All right? They can win other awards. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when it comes to Game of the Year, it's always been whatever full-fledged game came out that year. That's always been an unwritten rule. However, it is now a written rule that that's not the case anymore. Because as of a few days ago, the Game Awards actually announced that DLC expansion packs and remakes and remasters are eligible to win Game of the Year. Now we always knew remakes could do it, right? You had Resident Evil 4 remake that was up for what's it called? Game of the Year. You had Final Fantasy VII Remake up for Game of the Year. And you can argue Remake for FF7 is more of a reimagination because it's very different from the original game. Even plot-wise, it's kind of different. Actually, yeah, there's a lot of story beats that are very different. So you can make that argument. But for the most part, remakes have been nominated. I don't think any remakes have won yet, but they've been nominated. Remasters, I don't know. I don't think they've ever been nominated. I'm not too sure. But DLCs usually are never nominated for Game of the Year. The last DLC that won an award, I believe, was Blood and Wine for Witcher 3. But even that wasn't nominated for Game of the Year. This coming out a few days prior to the actual nominees being said is making a lot of people be very suspicious about what's going on because obviously Elden Ring DLC came out this year and we all are pretty much being told right now that that's going to be up there. Originally, I only had, these were my nominees, right? I saw Rebirth being up there. I saw Metaphor and Fantasio, Astrobot, Silent Hill 2, Black Myth Wukong, and Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Now, this is what I think they would put up there. Not what I would put. This is what I think they would put. Simply just because of how the games are and kind of the cultural impact that it had, right? The conversations that each of these games provided. And of course, my idea of what I think is their own bias at the Game Awards. And that's not exclusive to Jeff Keighley or the Game Awards. Every single award show is going to have some type of bias. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I know there may be award shows that you're like, oh, I'm going to not watch this anymore and I'm going to go to this because I think this is more genuine. I promise on everything. That one will also have its biases. You may not be able to see it, but that one will, every award show has some type of bias. And I think that the biases for Game Awards do favor things like Nintendo, which is why I believe Zelda is going to be nominated. Things like Kojima, of course. We all love Kojima, but it seems like the people at the award show love Kojima a little bit more, right? But anyways, that's what I thought was going to be Game of the Year. But apparently now it says the Game Awards aims to recognize the best creative and technical work each year, irrespective of the format of that content's release. Expansion packs, new games, seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are eligible in categories if the jury deems the new creative and technical work to be worthy of a nomination. Factors such as the newness of the content and its price value should be taken into consideration. So this is a little strange because, like, what if, for example, something like a live service game just has banger after banger every year? Is that fair, right? What if Destiny 2 had just banger expansions every year and they dwarfed, other games? Maybe they weren't the best in of that year, but they dwarfed other games. It's kind of like a little unfair that Destiny gets to have that reoccurring slot, in there. Or, for example, No Man's Sky, right? Let's say No Man's Sky started as trash and then it developed into something amazing, which it did, and then now all the expansions are really good and they're better than actual games. Will that be fair? Me personally, I think that DLCs and expansions should be on a own category. I think that is very good at still highlighting their importance, but also not taking away from the importance of games that actually came out. But again, you see people online saying, is it rigged? Is this, that, and the third? And I think people are starting to blow it a little out of proportion. It's the Game Awards, man. It's not like whoever wins this is going to, I don't know, get $100 million to their development team or something like that. At the end of the day, it's just entertainment. You can make the argument that it does have a little bit of impact, right? It does have a little bit of an impact because on PlayStation Store or Steam and stuff like that, they usually have a category right in front and center that are dedicated to the winners of the Game Awards, right? Whatever. So you can make the argument that the winners will get more exposure, therefore more money. I don't think that's enough for people to be going crazy as they're doing, though. But anyways, yeah, as of right now, I mean, I'm not going to go and say that the awards are rigged. Do they have a little of a bias? Yes. But again, I don't think that's exclusive to the Game Awards. I think every single award show has some kind of bias. The only way they don't have bias to when it's just voting is that they have like a website where every single person, every human can make their own voting, right? Like the people can make their voting. But even if they do stuff like that, they may have their biases as to, what developers they allot times to, right? Thanks speeches or showing their games to or anything. There's always going to be biases when it comes to award shows. It just depends on how egregious they are. I think that the biases for the Game Awards are apparent. I don't know if they're super egregious to the point where it's like, okay, this is not even a real award show anymore. I don't think it's anything to that. It could go down that way, unfortunately, if they continue like a trend like this, which is not something I want, right? I want things to be genuine. I want award shows to matter at least somewhat. You know what I mean? It is fun again at the end of the day. But yeah, we'll see how things go. I truly think that it's going to be like, I truly think it's going to, because it's only 6, right? So I think it's going to be, I'm also not sure, because based off this criteria, I mean, why wasn't Phantom Liberty able to be nominated for Game of the Year? That was an incredible DLC. You got games that are kind of full-fledged, like 15 to 20-hour games, like Torn of the Golden Country, the expansion for the DLC, it meets all the criteria, in fact. It's a DLC, it's a standalone, and it's an expansion of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That was a fantastic DLC. Why wasn't that nominated for Game of the Year that year? Future Redeemed. There's so many other DLCs that just weren't nominated before. So it's strange that they would enforce that now, especially a few days before it comes out. The actual list comes out. That's why I just assume it just is basically telling us that Elden Ring is going to be up there. So these are my Game of the Years as of, I want to say October 10th. So yeah, about a month ago. Well, yeah, a little over a month ago, right? Sparking Zero, Metaphor Rim Fantasio, Rebirth, Astrobot, Silent Hill 2, and those are my personal ones. These are my personal 6. Stalker 2 comes out like in a few days, and the more I look into that game, the more I'm like, yo, this is amazing. This is going to be very good. I don't know what's going to happen, but these are mine right here that I think are going to be good. Will this be what's nominated? Probably not. I probably not. Unfortunately, I don't know. I could see Sparking Zero getting taken out. I could see Warhammer getting taken out. Maybe even Silent Hill getting taken out. But I think Rift Fantasio, Rebirth, and Astrobot are sure-ins. for Game of the Year on the Game Awards, and obviously Elden Ring DLC is going to be nominated because I can't imagine why they would put that up without without there being some type of agenda behind it. They were like, oh, by the way, and like I said, I don't really agree with this at all. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I think this should just be entertainment only, and if it gets to an egregious point where it's like, okay, this is just like a last year was not great. Let's be honest with the whole, please wrap it up, and some developers getting far more attention than others. It wasn't great. Now, hopefully, this one changes because prior, I've been a fan of the Game Awards. Right, I've been a fan of the Game Awards. I've been a fan of. E3, things like that, because it always feels like Christmas for gamers, where you can finally figure out what's going on next, and there's like a celebration of games, pretty much. And I don't want that to turn into some type of just capitalistic ad BS, right? I want it to still be for gamers, and hopefully that stays like that. But yeah, that's all I had to say for you guys. Take care, and see my skit on my main channel tomorrow. All right, peace.